Get your tickets now for the 23rd annual edition of the OUTshine LGBTQ Plus Film Festival happening April 23rd to May 2nd. Don't miss our incredible grand opening drive-in event followed by 10 days of non-stop films from here and all around the world that you can watch at home. Watch trailers and get your tickets at OUTshineFilm.com now.
Welcome to OUTshine Virtual Film Festival, our Miami edition. I'm Jen Kritz, the board vice chair, and we're so happy to have the filmmakers and cast from the feature film, The First Death of Joana, here at OUTshine today. Please welcome the writer-director, Cristiane Oliveira, and two members of the cast, the two leads, Leticia Kapersky, who plays Joana, and Isabella Brezenet, who plays Carolina. Welcome to OUTshine, and congratulations on your film, ladies.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our first question is for Cristiane. Cristiane, tell us, what inspired you to create this beautiful film?
Well, Joana's story came from a wish to talk about courage, you know, the courage to be who you really are in the face of all everyday violence one can experience when going through this process. And the aunt's character was inspired by a woman who was very close to me and who never had a romantic relationship. And she died a virgin at 70 years old. So her story really moved me, you know. And the other characters also came from my personal experiences as well as experiences from Silvia Lorenzo, the co-writer. And together we thought about the factors that crosses the construction of our affections, such as expectations of gender and prejudices regarding sexual orientation, racism, and also classism sometimes. And then we wrote the script together, inspired by this life around us.
And the film is very much about Joana trying to figure out, as you mentioned, why her aunt lived this chaste life, or so she thought, or was told. And so much of it is unfolding, you know, and trying to unfold the mystery here. The setting of the film in rural, small-town Brazil was so important, as the conservatism played a role in both the life of Rosa and is starting to play a role with the lives of Joana and Carolina. Chris, can you tell us a little more about the role of conservatism in your film and how it played a major part in the story?
Well, you asked also about the place, and so I have to say I grew up in Porto Alegre, and the main city, it is the main city of the southern state of Brazil. But I was always connected to smaller towns because of my family or vacations. And it's important to say that conservatism and the kind of situation that we see on the film can happen anywhere. It's not only in small cities. So even being raised in Porto Alegre, since primary school, I learned what behaviors were considered right for boys or for girls, you know. So I was already aware that certain kinds of humiliation at school were reserved exclusively for girls. And I remember the day someone said that I was supposed to like boys and not girls. So this conservatism brought some feelings that were against a natural behavior for me, you know. And as fears were created by the urgency to set the rules as to what was right for each gender, since childhood, I started to feel that gender should not be a sentence for oppression, and that sexuality should be seen as a natural development of one's affections. So all of those personal experiences and feelings kind of guided the creation of the characters and the story.
And you did such a beautiful job of showing how the girls are dealing with exactly that, and not wanting to be boxed in.
Thanks.
Can you tell us about the significance of the windmills, as they signify change in a rural town and how that played in?
Well, between the years of 2005 and 2007, when I used to spend holidays on beaches close to Porto Alegre, I saw the landscape of this lagoon region change, because when going to the seaside, we passed by this region, and sometimes we stopped by to visit relatives or friends, and there are more than 20 lagoons that compose a unique system in the world, because of its big extension of fresh water. Besides that, they are close to that hill with native forest that really impressed me since I was a teenager. That hill is so alive. And around 2006, this landscape gained these giant white wind turbines that form one of the biggest wind power stations of the South Hemisphere. So there I saw the ideal scenario to build Joana's story, since she is a teenager who was going through changes as the landscape, and also her family structure really fits to tell us about the German colonization that happened in the 19th century in Brazil, in that area. So it's a very special place for me, not only because of the windmills and this force of nature, the wind represents. It's a dramatic force in the film.
Mm-hmm. It is. Let's talk about Carolina and Joana. They're both seemingly first-time actors. Chris, was this a conscious decision to use first-time actors, or did it just come to pass that they were the perfect Carolina and Joana during the casting?
No, it was not. I was really open to find girls, experienced or not. We met around 70 girls through a casting produced by a professional that is also an actress. Her name is Nadia Mendes, and I believe her sensibility and her acting experience really helped us to find the girls. There was a first moment just viewing pictures, a second moment with video interviews that she did and showed it to me, and after that we set a third moment where I talked with a selection of those girls, and then a fourth round when I invited some to an interview in pairs. So only then I realized they were perfect together.
Well, Isabella and Leticia, I mean, this is your first film. How did you feel when you were cast for the role? Let's start with Leticia.
It was unbelievable. I was surprising, and my whole family was very happy, and so was I. In short, it was a dream come true, because since I was a child, I wanted for myself.
To be an actress.
Yeah.
And what about you, Isabella?
I was very happy and proud in wishing to play it well. But I was also very surprised. It was my first audition, and it is a little surreal that you are chosen from around 70 other actresses.
Absolutely. And did either of you have any hesitancy to play a role that could be seen as different from the norm?
No, for me, it was always normal. But my family conversation about this before the scenes, and we accept, and we shared me all the best for the job.
And what about you, Isabella? Did you have any conflicts in playing a role like this in your first role?
No, I didn't. Because in my house, all these matters have always been treated with a lot of normality. So I felt it would be an important work for people to also be treated with this normality.
Wow. What a wonderful family you both have. Tell me, what was your favorite scene to shoot, Leticia?
My favorite scenes are the ones I ride a bike because they were very tiring to do, but super cool. I like it, and we had to close the road. Um, every time the scene ended, there is a car on the side. To me, there is a car on the side to return with me to the starting point of the scene. Starting point of the scene. Sorry.
Every scene with you in a bicycle, you were going very fast.
Yes.
Yes, with urgency. So was that difficult, or you just are great on a bicycle?
Yeah, it was difficult because it's been beside a camera, but I like it. Was good.
What about you, Isabella? What was your favorite scene?
Well, it's difficult to choose, but I really like the scene that Joana and Carolina are in the lagoon. We can see a complicity in their friendship, besides that it was a very fun shooting day.
Yeah. Have you changed since you did the role? How do you feel different since being in a movie, Leticia?
I've changed a lot because it's been a long time, right? Um, it's shot in 2018, so I grew up and overcame some insecurities.
Hmm. What about you, Isabella? Are you both 15 now?
Yes, I believe that I grew up a lot. To be part of a film like this that talk about these important things, it was an honor. And I really enjoy it too, inside a shooting and to be in touch with the professionals who made it happen. Besides, it's assured that it is the career that I want for me, since I always liked acting.
Well, it sounds like you had an excellent director. And Chris, you're more than the director, you're the writer, you're a producer. That's often the case in independent films where you have to wear many hats, but it sounds like you were doing everything. Can you talk about the experience of that and what you were most fond of, Chris?
Well, when we have low budgets, I believe it helps if the director can think solutions with the production. So I'm that kind of director, but my producer, Aletheia Selonk, who is the owner of the production company called Okina Produções, based in the south of Brazil, she has a good team of executive producers, and I'm always beside her taking decisions, and we work together since the project, being together, for example, in international labs to develop the project. So this film, for example, was selected to the project. I mean, was selected to the co-production market at Berlinale Film Festival, and we were there together receiving international consultancies. So that's why I signed as producer with her, because we think everything together since the beginning. But her production company is in charge of everything. And the screenplay, I always work in partnerships. So I'm mainly a writer director. And that's what I love to do.
Did anything change in the course of filming since you were the writer director? Were there any scenes that you felt you needed to cut or scenes you needed to add, Chris?
I just added what we shot. I don't shot an extra material after the editing process, but I cut some parts, and I have to say I changed, for example, the order that was on the screenplay, because during the editing process for me it's like a rewriting moment. I really love to rediscover the film during the editing. So I'm very close to the editor who works with me in my films, and I give her the freedom to experiment and try different approaches and try different connections between the scenes. And that happened a lot. And when the girls watched the film, they were like, this scene was here? No, I think this scene was there. So that was a big fun for us to rewrite the film when we are editing.
And my final question, and I want to ask all of you this, and I want to start with Leticia again. Having now produced and acted in a beautiful film, beautifully paced, very important. It's playing at some major festivals, and you're going to be known. How do you feel? First of all, what do you want the audience to take away from this? And is there any advice that you could give? Leticia?
Well, I would like people to normalize what is different from them and let people love whoever they want.
And Isabella?
I'd like that even if there are still many prejudices in our society, I'd like that people should try to be what they really want. And I'd like that every woman could fight for their space and their rights, despite every oppression we face.
And Chris, how can you possibly top that? What can you tell us?
Well, the film portrayed different generations, and I think each person can feel connected to a different character on the film. And I believe, according to your background, you will have a different message, with the film. But in all of them, you can feel the impact of different kinds of prejudice. And I try as a writer to not put as a generation issue, but to show how they impact all of us, And there are, if you see in detail, every character on the film express some kind of prejudice. So we can't say this is their problem or a generation problem. No, it's everywhere. It impacts on everyone's life. So we need more education about that topics to be able to feel more comfortable in our daily life, I think.
Well, thank you again for bringing your beautiful film to OUTshine. We absolutely love it. It's beautifully paced, as I mentioned. It has a beautiful cast. Ladies, watching you is a dream. You're just so artistic and beautiful together. And Chris, what you've put together as a film is wonderful. Thank you so much for coming to OUTshine, and we hope that next time you'll come with another film and we'll see you in person.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer, for receiving us.
Thank you all. And we're going to end with a trailer of the film. Thank you.